Hello and welcome to Saturdays with the Story Dude. And I welcome viewers and subscribers officially to Saturdays with the Story Dude. The first episode, Lionel Luthor, the character from Smallville, the villainous character before Lex turned the way he did. And Lionel is Zeus. Let me explain. If you spent any amount of time watching Smallville and specifically paid attention to Lionel Luthor, you would notice his long hair, short beard, which is similar to Zeus. The only thing missing was a toga. And the actor playing Lionel Luthor, believe me, his next role will need to be Zeus. The comparison here, I'm going to be drawing a comparison between him and Zeus from Hercules' Legendary Journeys, that version of Zeus. Let's get started. So the first comparison is when you look at both are absentee fathers. And I don't mean in the physical sense, it actually means in the emotional sense. Both had kids, but all biological, but different mothers. Zeus paid attention to Hercules, but was an absentee father. Lionel did not pay as much attention to Lex, but also was an absentee father emotionally as well. When Zeus was asked by Ares what it is about Hercules that he favored more, Zeus responded by saying he did something that gods have tried and failed on, and that is gain humanity's trust. But when Lex questioned Lionel about this favoritism, Lionel deflected. Now the second reason was Lionel had ulterior motives. He had self-serving motives when he paid attention to Clark. On the other hand, Zeus was constrained by his obligation and responsibilities to the gods, including his sister Hera. Yes, Zeus and Hera as brother and sister rather than husband and wife. Now, both characters in Xena Warrior Princess, I'm including this because this is where it all came to an end. Hercules ends up killing Zeus. In season 7, Lex ends up killing Lionel. Because we knew that was coming. Right from the cliffhanger episode, the final episode of season 1, we knew what needed to happen to Lionel for Lex to take over as our supervillain. But in terms of their personalities, both Zeus and Lionel cared. They did care in their own interesting ways, in their own characterizations. Now, love him or hate him, Lionel is Zeus. What I'm also trying to point out here is there are situations where Clark and Lionel had more of a transactional relationship, and so did Hercules and Zeus. they had more of a transactional relationship rather than a father-son dynamic or a father-son relationship. Reason being, Hercules only called down Zeus because he had something like information that needed to be asked, and of course, same thing with Clark and Lionel. Clark and Lionel had information that needed to be shared. Clark wanted something from Lionel. But if there's any other points that you'd like to point out, let me know in the comments. Basically, I have determined that Lionel Luthor is Zeus based on facial characteristics to Zeus, facial comparison to Zeus, and the fact that he was an absentee father, and the relationship between the favored sons and the relationship between the other children. In Lionel's case, it was only 2, maybe 3. And of course, Lionel's infidelity showed, just like Zeus. Zeus had other children with other women. So did Zeus. If you count Hercules, if you count Hercules' other brother, Ares. But if you also count, in Lionel's case, if you count Luthor, aka Tess Mercer, or Lena Luthor, as she's been called. If you count Lucas Luthor in Smallville, the illegitimate child of Rachel Dunleavy. Watch the show. But there are similarities like that. So, with that being said, thank you for joining me for the first ever episode for Saturdays with the Story Dude. Episodes will be every Saturday. Now, wherever you are, your Saturday may be different. Now, you may be receiving episodes early. If you're in the Americas, you may be receiving episodes early. If you're anywhere else, like in Oceania, you will be receiving it on the day. Thank you for joining me for Saturdays with the Story Dude. Until I see you again for weekly episodes, don't forget to turn that page.